actually take the time to get some experience and repetitions in. I know for Carolina specifically, they basically went into the major without any real S&D scrim time practice. So I know that's certainly going to be a focal point for these guys going into this new qualifying stage. And of course, on the flip side, your world champs that plays top 12. I obviously have high expectations for these guys to bounce back, but they do have to prove it.
Yeah, they certainly do, and it can be a long way back to the top, but it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a New York roster do exactly that, as both teams now dive into the sub-base. It's been an interesting kind of turn of events all the way from Boston to here, with the new patch hitting new maps and new opportunities on that road to Miami.
And, you know, new opportunities is always a great time to maybe lose yourself on the new map. I know a couple key rotations are really just that P3 is going to be the biggest difference maker. Of course, the new sub-hill altered as well. But I'd say this is a map that plays like fairly similarly to how it was before, just with like two sort of big differences. But we're not there yet. We're still on P1. We're New York Subliners. Absolute stranglehold on the map. They have everything covered. They have a very comfortable rotation. Skies and Hydra set up, ready to go.
And this is what they want. Good thing there's been a lot of soul searching in this camp since Boston. It's never good for the World Championships to have a bad first outing, but they're looking to prove to everybody here in this next split that maybe that was just a bit of a fluke or a trip up in their journey for the rest of the season. And right now, they're doing exactly that. It looks all one-sided to the Subliners.
Yeah, this is quite literally perfect. I mean, they had every single cut pushed out. You get the top warehouse control. Carolina have now spent 30 seconds just trying to work through the middle of the map. And even if you open yourself up with a few gunfights, Kismet, the Thorn in their side, in the back pocket, they'll shoot you in the back. And I mean, this is just easy pickings for the players around the hill. Hydra might slide out and chow, but that's just because his teammates are comfortable inside at the time. And this is going to be a perfect full 60. I don't even know if TJ is going to be able to contest it for a moment. So, yep, just about every single second collected. And obviously with a lead like this, Carolina do have the rotation. They need to respond. Those 2 kills are not going to be the good start. Good news, though, at least the players spawn in the back.
Opportunity here for the Ravens. Have to hold. You can already see the players dropping in. Hydra from the top row, but Skies will get the second one as well. One player left alive. Only TJ to keep them at bay as all the Ravens are falling. Fortunately, a good spawn, but splits for them as well. The pressure's still mounting here for the Ravens, and TJ will eventually fall. But with Felony here at the back, they still have an opportunity, but an opportunity blown away by the wind. But TJ now spawning here as well, Juds.
Yeah, round 2 now for TJ to go against Sib. First time the headset was what costed him, and that time just gunny. Sib gonna drop him, and that is now 3 hills in a row where New York Subliners effectively able to do whatever they want. So brand new look at that new hill. Subliners clearly have just a leg up on that category, as the slang right now out of control. Sib has died a single time. Kismet has only died twice. Might have jinxed him for the moment, but here in the cruise off of the first 2 hills, now it's time for it to do some damage. Should be a guarantee on the players outside, so Felony gonna meet his early demise, soften up the push, get some power positions in. Subliners swarming around the new hill.
And they're ready for this one as well. That crew's so crucial now with the trophies being nerfed against it. You can see the Ravens desperately trying to hold on here. It's a great hold eventually. The kind of hold they needed with 40 seconds left back onto this hill. And they've pushed out as well. This is great for them now. The Subliners finally getting a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, this is finally, like, you know, the great news. Signs of life. Just give them something around that hill. Get the kills flowing your way. TJ going on a 3 spree as well. His gun's been a little bit slow, and maybe Felony can be that next guy in line to start to pop off just a little bit. For the final 20 seconds, see Clayster, old man's got the moves, sets his teammates up for the kills, and that's a 3-man wipe as well on the rotation. TJ now in prime position to play for the spawners. 2 guys going to come into his line of sight, or Sib ahead of the game. Make sure you take down that key man. Now Subliners back to about a 50-50 face smash into the new hill.
We're massively outnumbered here. Stays alive and gets one. Eventually falls to Sky, who picks the perfect pixel. And now you can see that the Ravens are struggling. They have lost control of this one. TJ going to be the furthest ahead. Wants to wait for some teammates, though. The trades will not be in his favor. As New York, they lock this in.
And again, for the way that that started to him, TJ in the power position, things could have spiraled out of control. Now Carolina investing the cruise missile, does pick up an extra kill, but Sib, again, just on a kills front on this hill, has been keeping his team in it. The initial kill he finds on TJ, and then even with the cruise rolling through, picks up 2 more. So this is a hill Subliners should have been massively behind on. Instead, they turn it into a positive, and I mean, maybe the signs of life from Carolina have slowed down a touch. Still able to pick up a nice little feed, though, so they've given up the odds. It's going to be about, what, a 40-point game after that first set of rotations. So Carolina, a little bit more work to get in the mix. And Clayster, another kill. He will get a cruise.
I think the key changing point in this one is the Ravens. Their teamwork has looked much better as this game has gone on, starting to fight back every single step of the way. But these next few kills could determine P1. Keep an eye on Clayster. He is playing for position only, just making sure he can do something, but already being tagged up. Will have to dip away here with 19 health.
And keep in mind, for the dipping away, he does need to get this cruise missile, right? They are massively impactful on the new patch. Trophies no longer stop them. So you want to take your time to play for it. Clayster took his time and he got it. So there are absolutely a few different hills on this map. Cruise missiles now can have a massive impact on. And then the actual impact on the hill, Carolina getting this time. 4 players right now from New York Subliners, maybe just 3, working their way towards those P2 spawns, trying to make sure they stop the bleeding. You exchange a bit of time on P1, but you want to make sure you win this rotation, and Felony trying to take it from them. That's a good start.
This is where they fell last time, just weren't able to get anything going, but they are here. They do have the numbers. Couple of the Subliners already in, though. Kidman does not turn, and they clean house. Back to spawn you go, Subliners. Time to run the gauntlet.
Yeah, no one's made it on the cross just yet. You see Subliners taking their time, trying to group up together, doing it as a complete unit. Going to be Skies and Hydra leading that charge, and maybe Hydra even thinking about the flanker. Go for the double doors. Felony's going to meet him just to slow him down. Kill's going to Carolina's way for the moment. You see, still have New York Subliners just towing at it. People in the doors, people on the flanks looking for to get the timing right. The comms, though, for Carolina on point. You read the flank, you get the kills, you shut them down, and now, for the first time this map, basically, Carolina Ravens, they have the lead.
Oh, but still my beating heart. A lead change now for these two teams. And the Ravens last time, they made an absolute mess of the rotation. They're going to have to find something a little bit better here. And this really could go either way, Chance.
Yeah, and I mean, Carolina, again, the comms had to be on point for this hill to read the flank. So let's go to a quick listen in and just confirm.
Nice, I went left. You want me to hit left? Yeah, I'm coming.
I don't want to stick on this. I don't want to stick on this.
Another one low P5. Dante on the stairs.
One shot low stairs. Say one shot low stairs.
I gotta run back left. I'm just staying alive.
He's on tunnel. Go
P2. Caesar weekend time.
Top P2. Kisman, one shot A2.
2 in time.
One shot
Caesar and
A2.
Paco. And one top on me. Dante dead. There's 2 in time. He shot me off.
I'm gonna
It's
go mid.
Hydra
It
and
was still good A2, don't forget.
I hear you low P5. I'm wrapping.
Five on you, bro. 5 weak. One running around flat.
Back out, one shot on me, dead.
Nice, good up. He's could be top P5.
Sib, missing Sib and
Yeah, I'm getting top.
Paco.
I'm getting top. I'm getting top.
Go for it. I'm holding mid.
He's
Careful the water route. Careful. Sib and Hydra.
Did you kill that guy?
Yeah, kill him.
No.
Okay.
Nice. Yo, careful water routes here, bro.
Yeah, we're missing
streak.
Sib.
I have a streak still. I have a streak.
They could.
Use it. One is done left.
Can you hold my low P5?
Holding your left. I have your left. They could be in water though. He's on me mid P1. Fuck.
P1 our side.
I'm backing up. Does have anything for me?
Like, I'm gonna spawn out, bro.
I'm gonna have your
No.
mid lane.
No, I didn't. I'm
Come
coming
on,
back to hill. I'm
come on,
coming
come
back to hill for you.
He's pumping you guys.
Shooting me from mid map, mid lane or something. Mid lane or something.
I'm on one. Mid lane again. There's two. I'm on two.
One mid lane.
Inner lockers, one shot.
Inner bottom single. Gonna chow you.
I spawned out.
Stay down low.
In
He's been low on you, weak.
lockers.
He's been low on you, weak. Slow
Computers.
shit.
Spawners
on me. There's 2 front.
Dead top computers.
2 front cat room.
Don't tell me right.
Spawning me out, bro. Spawning me out. I just one shot cat room. Stay left.
One cat room.
One shot loading kids. One shot loading kids.
Cat room and top computers. One top computers.
Well, I'm streaking. Stay alive front.
Trying to.
And with the Carolina comms, you can hear despair bleeding into the edge of their voices. They knew they had lost that hill at the last point. But over to the rotation we go. A very close game still between them. This is now a slug match between the New York Subliners and the Carolina Royal Ravens.
Yeah, and Kismet's going to be the player on new to meet Carolina as well. He was the thorn on their side on the previous hill. Absolute nuisance. And now towards new, you're going to have Subliners in control of the hill first with that 30-point lead. So Carolina, there is not a lot of time to waste. You need to get these kills quick.
They went for it, and Quinn's going to find Hydra before he can get away. TJ will find a second one as well. They're going to get the first initial bit of time here onto this. Clayster already moving up, trying to make a nuisance of himself. Who does he find? Who does he see? Eventually will find Kismet. Does make that first kill as well, and they are making things difficult now for New York! And eventually he will fall, but Body's still in favor of the Carolina Royal Ravens.
Oh, look at these spawns, though. Yeah, Clay just comes off spawn and gets shot in the back 2 seconds in. So you got a two-front war right now Carolina trying to deal with. TJ, Felony, and Gwyn, though, they lock it down. It's Civ last man standing. Can't get the freebies. Gwyn's going to read it, and that is a 4 spree on time. Gwyn is out here making plays.
Lock in. Kismet's gone Aquaman. He's going for the break by himself. Clayster must need to be aware of this, but no, already got one. Flies out towards the back, and will that be enough here onto this P1 as well? Ravens have the lead, but not the position.
And Gwyn gets dealt with as well. So there you go. Yeah, they're going to have the positions. They're going to have the spawns. You're going to be able to control this. This is a P1 where they technically could win off of this hill. You have long-term, though. Clayster's taking a route just to try to open up the spawns. He gets turned on. Kismet guns him in the feed, and now it's all guns forward. Players coming through glass. Not a place you always want to flood. It is just going to be a slugfest back and forth. Hydra going to be playing for these errant kills. The time is white, which means we are going to be going towards new, but still, with those left side spawns under control for New York Subliners, they still have an edge in this game.
They've got off of it now, so it certainly will be. I don't know if they've got the tick for this, but it's going to be very, very close. But Hydra just making a nuisance of himself. You are right. This is all about the rotation now. Both teams are going to be sweating buckets. Every kill important. Every movement must be perfect. Civ finds 2 as well, and that could be enough.
And again, even Clay gets caught. That is like hero play after hero play. Carolina just desperate for someone to make it through. Gwyn now the furthest player pushed up on the map, but they're reading him the entire time. Hydra gonna hunt him down and gun him down, and now set up a new 10 seconds to go when Subliners get this game.
Civ has been great so far, has to be great again. They pile in. Felony and Clayster will get him. They have got the points down. They are throwing bodies at this. The Bulldog from behind finds 1, finds 2, not the third. Gwyn for the win, maybe. He gets a 2-piece himself, holding on by bleeding fingertips. And now New York are on the back foot. They have to run through the middle of the map.
Big Gwyn guy's in a sweet spot, man. That man is in the point, collecting the time, and he is gonna fry. It is a tight setup in New York Subliners. You get 1 break attempt.
Everybody lock in, laser focus, it's time to go. 5 seconds before everybody else, and it will be the Ravens who fill the kill feed with despair. It's a jump in, it's a Clayster, it's a win for the Ravens. Revenge will not be felt on map 1 for New York. The Ravens have put them in their place again.
Hey, that is, dude, such a cheeky win from Carolina as well. A couple chuckles, a sigh of relief, the pop off from Clayster. But, dude, what a game. I mean, that starts off for New York Subliners. The first 3 hills were like virtually perfect. Kismet got that early cruise missile. They locked down P2 for a full 60. They built themselves a gargantuan lead. I mean, I think Felony started off 3-10. TJ started off 1-7. So it took a long time before Carolina to start to shoot back. But I mean, almost like the tide. Like, it just kept coming. The waves kept crashing. And I don't even know how Carolina get the break on P2 towards the end. Like, TJ tries to sprint through P2. He gets caught. Clayster tries to go through long on the full flank. He gets caught. Like, everybody was getting gunned down. And then eventually, like, the dam just breaks. And Carolina able to flood inside the point. And, I mean, here's Clay. That's a nice little 3 spree to help make the break on P2. Gwyn also goes on a streak and wins that crucial 1 versus 1. So, I mean, it's just, I guess, like, the big gunny plays coming in from Carolina towards the end.
And he thought all the work New York did, every bit they put into that P1 control. And maybe all they needed was a Hydra on that hill for a few more seconds, but he was playing for position. They didn't want to give it away. And they got the rotation. I thought it was done, but Ravens, they find the kills they needed to. They made the plays they had to. And they get the W as a response.
And, you know, that actually is pretty funny that you point that out. Anytime you have a 5-point game in hardpoint, if you go back through, like, with a fine-tooth comb, you can just find all of those, like, places you could have had that extra 5 seconds. And I think you're exactly right. Hydra dancing around P1, looking for spawners and playing for the cutoff kills, just leaving that white time on the hill. It makes sense to do because, like, Subliners had control of the rotation, so it is good plays, but it is funny how hardpoint just punishes you towards the end. But yeah, clearly a nail biter on those final 3 hills. It took Carolina a long time to make up for the deficit up until the P2 on the second set of rotations. is where they were first able to take the lead. But I mean, that's a battle of the game number one. Carolina obviously showing off the good stuff there, and now the real question for this team is the map number 2, the invasion, and more specifically the search and destroy. I know that is going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest focus point for Carolina. Again, they have not been looking good throughout Major 1. Scrim time they're able to get in search and destroy is the massive factor there. Now they've had an extra few weeks to figure some stuff out, get the strats going, and show off the good stuff. We get to see them against New York Subliners from map number 2. Should be a good one.
Yeah, it's certainly true. I actually completely forgot about play. I want to talk about Kismet going through the water. Like, he knew he needed that map positioning. Clayster completely blindsided by it. And realistically, that was kind of the story of it as well. New York looked so good at points. When we kicked this map open, I thought it might have been a bit of a bloodbath. The New York Subliners coming off a loss, hungry for revenge against the Ravens. And it looked like it. Problem is, the Ravens fought back with incredible teamwork. But for New York Subliners, the only way really now is up.
And we're going to take a look at the Monster Energy pregame sort of stats that we have for the New York Subliners. And again, for S&D, a 9-3 record overall. They've been one of the best in the game, but the problem is the respawn, which obviously map number 1 sort of lived up to that reputation. So they're certainly going to be looking for the quick bounce back against Carolina. It is sort of like best case scenario, one of the best search and destroy teams in the game going against Carolina, who has been one of the worst. Obviously, a lot of questions can be answered in the 2-week break that we had after Boston, but you certainly have high expectations for them. And, you know, got to give some credit. You're talking about Kismet. He was popping off on the map number 1 as well. Like, they were making good plays. They just got beat towards the end, but definitely want to pay a great deal of attention towards the Bulldogs, see if he can show off the good stuff on map 2.
Well, let's find out. For New York, this might just be a little bit of a mental reset. They have had an inordinate amount of flack, obviously, in the break we've had since Boston. Nobody expected a team of this talent and caliber to go out top 12. And for me, I felt like, you know, it's one of these ones that's probably too early to tell to see how this goes for the rest of the season. I still have faith in the New York Subliners. I hope they have faith in themselves. But on the other side of it, the Ravens are ready to rumble. You know, they took this team out last time in Boston. They'll be looking to do the same again and get those points on the board, Chance.
You know, and again, if you're bringing up the Monster Energy stats and you talk about their search and destroy, when I say one of the worst in the league, I do mean the worst in the league. Win rate has just been brutal. They're like, again, even just on a first blood front, they are finding no success. Players like historically that are fantastic at search and destroy, TJ Halley being the prime example, his stats have also been abysmal on this team for search and destroy. Again, I think that is a sort of, you know, TJ being a symptom, certainly not the cause. Again, just sort of a broken environment, not being able to scrim, search, and destroy. So you're taking a team that is at 12th. If they turn around and even become like an average search team, you know, their stocks are going to go through the roof, but they do have to prove it first.
Yeah, they certainly do, and this tells the entire story of what we're expecting. First versus 12th. Basic opposite ends of the league when it comes to search and destroy. For New York, this should be a good map for them, a reset since what happened not only in that first map, but Boston as well. Realistically here, the Ravens, they have a chance to do something wonderful. I don't know how their scrims have been going in this break and how everything has been for them, but maybe, just maybe, they've been putting a lot of work into S&D.
Oh, I'm sure that they have. It's going to be the major talking point for these guys in the downtime without question. But it is going to be an interesting matchup because, you know, as you pointed out, New York Subliners, I'm on the same page as you, Bryce. I fully expect them to bounce back, go back to being in that top 4 slot, and competing for championships. I think they're going to be just fine. But at the same time, like, at some point, like, when does the doubt really start to kick in? Because, like, last year, New York Subliners had a tournament or two where they bottomed out, and obviously they bounced back as world champions. So, a very capable team. But, you know, I think you come into the match against Carolina Ravens, and if you're Subliners, you're saying, let's 3-0 them, beat them down, get the revenge from the major, and really kick this stage off right. Already for map 1, a bit of a falter point there. I think this is one of those series that if you lose it, if you're the New York Subliners, again, that doubt, a nefarious force creeping into the back of your mind, really could start to do some damage. So I just want to make sure they execute. Search and destroy. They've been their bread and butter. Invasion, a fantastic map for the players that they have as well. So looking to shut them down, but maybe the one shining light for search and destroy on the side of the Ravens. Felony actually did. He threw up a nice KD. You'll give it to him on the KD front. Why not?
Well, let's see. Does that statistic bleed into this game or not? Already the first flurry of explosions flying everywhere with no trophies available and players flying in as well. I think Skies has been sent. TJ trying to get it, but not able to.
Yeah, you had Hydra trying to go for the cheeky jump up spot, but he missed it a couple times, had to back down, and nice little trade coming through, but of course a few trades coming through. The nades from Felony actually able to take down one player, and then the smoke making sure Hydra can heal up. Him and TJ in a very dicey spot right around this A-bomb site. The play clearly on Hydra in this moment. Can he find the kill? He cannot. TJ Gunham's down. Advantage, Carolina Ravens.
Sib, this could be a huge position here. Clay may check this streak briefly. As soon as that bomb goes down, he hasn't. There'll be a flank. Sees the first. I don't know if he sees Clay. He does. Finds it. Looks for the second chow. The slide cancel is not enough, and Kismet nades him as well. That's not what you want. Kismet now to 1 versus 2, and they will play the shoulder game with him for as long as possible.
Oh, not even. There ain't no shoulders to be thrown. Just an easy read on the back alley push. Felony there for the final kill, and that is a tilt-worthy moment to kick off map number 2. If you're not already tilted about the way you lost map number 1 in a nail-biting fashion where you had the rotation of P2, a team nade that really just stamps the rounds, not a fun thing to have to bounce back from. Subliners have to hit the regain.
Let's see. A lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of sacrifice has been put in the last few weeks with new maps, new patch, new meta, and everything else in between. But who comes out on top? This is our first chance of viewing these teams on the road to Miami. And right now, the Ravens look just a little bit ahead of the Subliners.
Man, Ravens also have a couple players in an interesting position. TJ up, fairly aggressive on the map. Kismet, though, able to find the first blood, but there's the strike from Gwyn. Does get traded out. Got my numbers wrong. It was Gwyn, not TJ, but either way, man advantage for the New York Subliners. Gets evened up very quickly. And plenty of time in this round. Bomb gets planted. 40 seconds right now for Carolina to work.
2 versus 2, but TJ will find Kismet straight away. Hydra. Long flank for him. A mile away. TJ has been seen, but hasn't got anything for him, and they've been on this bomb a while, and that is the defuse. Hydra was not there when he was needed.
Yeah, and I can't read lips, so I don't know exactly what Clayster said, but something effective like that was a little bit too easy. I don't know if that's maybe some knowledge. Clayster obviously teaming with Hydra back in the day, maybe keenly aware of like the play styles, but Clayster, even before TJ got there, insta-hop that bomb, did not care in the slightest, and obviously the play call was perfect. So 2 rounds right there for New York Subliners where they have opportunities, but cannot execute and get it done. Carolina back on the attack, 2-0 up, and just a Hydra to deal with, and Hydra gets dealt with. Gwyn for the first blood.
Well, New York slowly falling apart here, but Kismet will find this back, brings it to a 3 versus 3 again. Gets out of it, repositioning the player's life. And that does mean that the Ravens will have to slow down for just a second, reevaluate where they're going. It still looks like an A commit.
Yeah, you had Felony back all the way up on the map. The other 2 players for Carolina turned their attention. Sib playing with, this is an interesting angle, right? I mean, him and TJ can spot each other at any given moment. Sib gonna slide over to Cafe, and Sib might have just pierced this setup.
Winlow looking for it, brings it back. 2 versus 2 again. To New York, they want this round. They desperately need this round. Gwyn just checking every single angle, but they have that bomb covered because TJ hasn't moved from it. That's a huge gun follow. Kismet gets it. A trade, but no, Skies is there to help him out this time. And New York, they find the pieces they need.
Yeah, that's a good play from Kismet, too. That was just too little information for too long of a time, and I think Gwyn feeling the pressure tried to slide out and go for that chow, but the timing was perfect there for both of those players on the Subliners to converge around the site. And funnily enough, I think this might be a situation where the first bloods have almost just not been a factor for any of these rounds at all. Hydra gets first blooded, but the 3v4 firmly there for New York. Retake is clean, and they're able to get on the board, get a little bit of wiggle room in their favor.
That's what they wanted. Felt a bit better. Interesting play, actually, from the Ravens. TJ didn't really move from the bomb site, just sort of slithered over a little bit while he was laying down. Does give up a bit of map control. But, hey, lesson learned. Let's see what happens on this next one already. You can see the Ravens spread across the map, trying to watch everywhere. Might be
Someone has
Felony
to-
who has the key point.
Yeah, I was going to say, and even for key points, Subliners have to go back and get the bomb. So it's going to be about 30 seconds burned off the clock before Subliners make any sort of move. Sib obviously knows there's players down by B, but the action over towards A. Felony, as you pointed out, in the key spot, gets that first blood.
Now New York worried. They don't have the information here. They know Street is off limits to them because of Felony. They have committed towards A. This nade will go towards Tank, trying to flush out whoever's there. Gwyn in a position. Hydra speed versus Gwyn's gunny. This is what this will be if they break this door.
Wait for it. Here we go.
Oh, it's gunny for Gwyn! Every single second, not a bullet missed, not an opportunity wasted. And Sib tries to fly in to be the hero, but gets shut down. And there was speed, but not a lot else.
Dude, and Gwyn delivers again. I don't know how much we touched on it after the map one, but Gwyn was popping off basically the entire time. Again, he's doing it from inside the hill. So we had Kismet making those sort of OBJ plays on one side, Gwyn doing the exact same thing on the other. And that's a two-piece where he did not really have too much help at all. So Gwyn out here delivering time and time again for Carolina. A big round to sort of kill that momentum and maybe kill even future A pushes. Domination in that moment, but now Carolina go again. A has been the favorite site for them for quite some time. It looks like that's going to be the case once again.
Things just keep going worse for New York. Mental resilience has been tested, and it will continue to be so. We play the waiting game now on Karachi. Ravens are slow rolling it.
And the waiting game is going to be based on Skies. When Skies gets the information from the mid-tank that players moved out towards the A site, Hydra's going to poke up from the cars and just shoot the players in the back.
There we go, nades out as well. A little bit of bullets here. They've been pushed back off that A site. It's not good for the Ravens because they're going to try and rework this a different way. They've got through. Oh my goodness, somehow they're winning this trade. There are players everywhere. Hydra has to back off. Kismet could be a key player as well. He knows where somebody is. Bring this back to a 2 versus 2. Finds him. Takes him down. That's bomb as well, but the trade comes through again. 2 versus 1. Hydra now for the win.
And they know Hydra. The last time they saw him was out towards A. So Hydra flies up the middle of the map, and the COD timing simply does not go his way. Carolina making the speedy moves, the speedy reads, and executing in that round as well. That was the setup that they had. It was Skies on the main tank. If Carolina did the same default thing, work out that freezer door, they're going to lose this round. Carolina read the pressure, though. Felony flies in, and those are the men to take down. Instead of Hydra getting a freebie, the man that's trying to set him up, Skies, just gets caught. You lose the mid-tank pressure, and the setup just gets broken down. So efficient work out of Carolina and Tyler Fellow. Potentially answering the questions very early about their search and destroy. Nice little 4-1 edge, and they are making plays on the map. Very aggressive on defense. And they've cleared out so much of the map. Glaciers got to know there's pressure on him. So he's going to back all the way down, play it nice and safe, but still have that crossover towards B. Subliners haven't made the move just yet.
Clayster needs to find something here. He will be screaming for reinforcements. The pressure will come in towards him. Flanks going in for the Ravens, but they're going to be on the bomb site. Kismet gets away clean. Clayster trying to thread that one through a building isn't going to work. Will at some point maybe have to worry if Kismet was going to go for a flank. He hasn't. But Clayster was just waiting for those teammates to make a move. Gwyn's already made one as well. Advantage Ravens. Huge advantage Ravens.
And I'm just thinking the utility right now, too. Well, maybe just the gunny Felony flying in Challen. Kismet, though, was able to pick up 2, but you have to know that this bomb is going to be down, and the trophy got shot out earlier. Poor Kismet, nowhere to go. And once again, perfection coming out of the Carolina Ravens. Whether it's Felony soaring or just the swarm on the site. Even just for the fact that, like, the trophy gets taken care of. Like, the things right now just falling into Carolina's lap.
I love that play there from the Ravens. Clayster was the anvil. The rest of the team was the hammer. Clayster didn't move, didn't give up position, put bullets in, was a constant threat they couldn't ignore. The rest of the Ravens went round, some through dark, some through the back of the street, and found the kills they needed. 5-1 now to Carolina.
Yeah, now you just need the bomb, you know? It's really important in search and destroy. I don't know why teams keep leaving that in the dust. So TJ's got to collect it. By the way, on the map, hyper aggression right now from the New York Subliners. Sid, though, does get ripped and first blooded. And now you get a little bit of intel on where the pressure is going to be coming through, but still players like Kismet behind enemy lines, the opportunity to make a play. But obviously, he's forced to right now, man disadvantage. Someone's got to find the big two.
Yeah, and I think Christmas just came in and that was Felony that called it. And that's given up complete control. This is a retake for New York with numbers against them. Kismet has to check the angles and win a gunfight. They've let him get through a little bit here. Felony might catch him as he goes to take, but he hasn't. Kismet slipping the net. No, Quinn, he's just going to get gunned. Wasn't Quinn, it was Clayster who found him, and now both directions they have to go. TJ cleans up.
God.
And it is decimation. The Carolina Royal Ravens, 12th ranked in S&D before this, just took down the #1 ranked team. Statistics be damned. Woo!
I mean, there you go, bro. Yeah, I was waiting for like more of a follow-up. That really was just a damning performance. I mean, the team that was number 12, again, it was a symptom, not a cause. It was just a weird team environment, not opportunities to get good S&D practice in. Now they've had the opportunity to take a little bit more time as a full team to get the practice in, and they went against one of the very best, and they made it look just easy. I mean, maybe 2 rounds early on for Subliners that they could have like built a nice little lead. I know that first round, really unfortunate team nade coming in from Kismet sort of seals the deal for Carolina. So a little bit of luck on the side of the Ravens, but at the same time, 1-6 out of both Civ and Skies, 2-6 out of Hydra. Nobody really having success in the shooting back category there for New York Subliners. And after a painful map number 1 performance, Bryce, staring down the barrel of a hot 3-0 for a team that is in the bottom 4 in the league. Carolina looking for some extra CDL points and kicking off their stage 2 right.
Yeah, they really are. And actually, I want to go back and look at those statistics again. I think Clayster had about the same amount of damage as Felony, who was 9-2 at 3-3. So kind of tells you what Clay's doing. He's putting a lot of damage down as being a very difficult player for other teams to deal with, even if it doesn't reflect in the kills. And that's something we talk about with statistics. It can be different. But speaking of different, at the moment, it is the same old story. The Carolina Royal Ravens are hurting the New York Subliners. They knocked them out of Boston, and they are knocking them back on the road to Miami. Is there a reverse sweep? Is there hope for Subliners, or are the Ravens just better? But we'll find out when we go to control after the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Call of Duty League.
Check out all of the awesome in-game rewards you can earn for free just by watching the Call of Duty League. What's on tap this weekend? An all-new lineup including a weapon blueprint, emblem, calling card stickers, and XP tokens. Just link your YouTube account now to start earning. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL. Start the season strong with the Call of Duty League Pack. Grab yourself the CDL Operator, Weapon Blueprint, and so much more. Check out the Call of Duty store in-game now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. We have witnessed the Carolina Royal Ravens go to work against New York, and most recently on S&D. A couple of huge kills here for them. Gwyn flying out with backup from Clayster and getting it, and this is a break here from Felony. This completely decimated everything the Subliners had.
No, absolutely. And you point out Clayster as well. He was involved in both of those first clips. This one, though, TJ, I mean, just easy reads and gunny for that third two-piece. But I know you talked about how, like, Tyler Fellows specifically, his stat line was incredible. Dude's making plays all over the map. But if you're paying attention mid-map, yes, the teamwork and the comms absolutely there. The team shots from Clayster and even the pre-fire on the player coming through that dark alley by the tank for Felony, just getting called out the entire time. So Carolina, absolutely heads-up performance there in map number 2. Might have been a slow start in map number 1. Obviously, they make up for it. So all of the momentum right now on their side. Of course, if you're thinking about momentum, Hydra is absolutely a player that can take it from you at any moment. And if we're going to a high-rise, I mean, I think one of the themes we have on this map, especially for the New York Subliners, they can play for kills just a little bit too much. Like, Sid broke the record for damage on this map, and he absolutely destroyed the kill feed the entire time, and it was for a loss. So I think New York Subliners certainly have, gone to the drawing boards for high-rise control and be a little bit more objective-minded, because overall, respectable on the round win percentage, but they're not executing and actually getting these wins. And again, a couple of those nail-biter round 5s have really punished New York.
They certainly have. The statistics do not tell the whole story, of course. You've got to bear in mind that the Ravens won this last time, and I think, for me, what I've been seeing from the two of them, the Ravens look like they are having a great time with teamwork. For New York, it's individual performances, and maybe they just need a little bit of polish, and if that clicks in, it could be a very different team. There's a lot of talent on New York. This could just be resettling. You've got to remember, you've gone from a devastating loss in Boston. The game has changed. The maps have changed. The spawns have changed. The meta has changed. There is a lot to get done in that short amount of time, especially when they're trying to rework. So I'm still going to give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt. But for the Ravens, it's all upside. We're talking about positives. They look great.
Absolutely. And again, like, they're sort of getting the ball rolling on like the S&D front. That's massive for this team, where if they were 12th in the league, now getting dominant wins like that, the amount of confidence that is going to like provide you as a core unit, it is going to go such a long way. But being up 2-0 is one thing. You still have to make sure you execute and take care of business, because obviously lethal threats on the other side. But as the map gets delayed a bit, maybe just an opportunity for Carolina to talk some things over, for Clayster to feel his nose, and for Gwyn and TJ, who truly do look like a duo together, I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting one. Obviously, TJ coming in kind of last minute for as well, but you got to give credit. TJ performed. When you get that kind of opportunity, you get back in the league, and then you put the numbers up, and let's be honest, looked like the best player at points, kind of fighting for it with Gwyn on this roster, and the Ravens made the right call and brought him in full time.
And this is something that Clayster has actually touched on. I can't remember, podcast, on stream, whatever it was, but he sort of talked about the, like, not complete night and day versions of TJ that he has gotten, but Clayster's teamed with him in the past and maybe not had the most positive experiences. This year, from what Clay has said, he's been loving teaming with Tej. He's just been incredible so far throughout this year. And as you pointed out, yes, has absolutely looked like the best player on the teams at times. So Clayster certainly enjoying the new vibe with the team he's playing with, the slightly new version of TJ as well. And obviously, again, going against some world champions up 2-0, like, you have to be feeling good because they are shooting back.
They certainly are. And good vibes in Carolina Royal Ravens. They will want to put this one down right here. Easy points for them, get themselves up the standing. You got to remember that while we are still a little way away from getting to Miami, every single game is crucial. You want to find yourself in the winner's bracket, you want to have a good time, and in the bigger picture, all the way to champs. You don't want to be fighting desperately for 10 points at the end of the season when you could have had that 10 points easier at the beginning.
And I mean, these are like two of the best teams to pay attention to for the points as well, because you had Carolina that actually had like a halfway decent major performance, all things considered. They get the extra 15 points, but because the online performances was that poor, Carolina still right now in the bottom 4. And on the flip side, what is sort of funny is like Minnesota Rocker, I think, you know, throughout stage 1, their online performance is not super great, but they did just enough to get the winner's bracket, which, as you pointed out, is a massive opportunity. Minnesota Rocker get that one first big win against the Subliners, move up to like, you know, the top like 4 automatic thing, and they just get so many CDL points, and they really only had to win like 1 or 2 matches to make it happen at the major. So yes, getting the winner's bracket really is that massive opportunity. Getting the points in the online stages goes such a long way. Carolina, one more map to collect their next 10, and on control, nice little 2-2 split off the rip. Look for those opening salvo of kills.
Instantly runs into a player waiting for him, and it's Sib, and Sib looking for a second, not going to get it this time. Opportunity, B coming through. Sky's going to be here waiting for the player as well, and he is going to end up getting it. Clayster's now trying to stay alive. He knows eventually he should fall, but no. Teammates flying in for the action here. The Ravens should get this first tick as the kills keep flying their way.
Oh yeah, look at the 2-piece from Gwen down low as well. Helps Clayster with the guy trying to jump up and then just fries the next one in line. So nice little repositioning, but only one player on the B zone for the moment. So it's going to be a slow capture. Kismet finds the opening as well. Things do get mixy as Carolina still just hurting them in the kill feed. 2 ticks of progression out through. Gwyn still alive behind you and gets out at least great damage. You see Hydra does get traded. Ooh. That B zone still not yet captured. It is that slow approach, but a 24-17 life advantage. Carolina feeling great.
There we go. This is all they need to do, and that's an ambitious chow from Gwyn. They just need to beat in wind here. They don't have position. Be careful. Play these lives. You have the opportunity, a good break, and get that time stopped. So much time on the clock for them as well, but New York starting to clear the lines and starting to get some kills down.
Yeah, some good comms, good awareness as well from New York. Civ actually checking that little scaffolding jump up spot, so no cheeky plays coming in from TJ. And you're just right now, if you're New York, trying to fight for map control. They've yet to really be able to push up and get those power positions, get the top heli, get the top propane. They're just getting punished back in their spawn. Finally, 2 kills go their way. Skies, if he can stay alive, this would be your opportunity to start to push for a little bit of map control. But Felony doing a perfect job of backing him down. Clayster there for the follow-up, and now you get a full hit out towards this A zone.
Better be careful. Gwyn has got Rogue. He's gone all the way around the pack here as well. They're winning in the front, the Ravens. Gwyn's going to be behind as well. Looking for the kills, and there's the flank. And that might be it. They're going to pile bodies onto this. That's 3 in already. Trophy's going to be working overtime for us. New York fly out of the window as a squad, but it is a rocket that is ticking up here. Eventually the contest comes in. Is this enough from New York? No, it is not. The Ravens run rampant.
I mean, yeah, they're feeling good now. That is somewhat of a devastating round 1 as well. New York maybe had the one opportunity to like start to fight back and get some semblance of control. Felony and Clayster just slammed the door in their face, and then Gwyn was like the ever-present problem for New York in that round. Right from the jump, he starts going on tears, annoying you, getting in your spawn, shooting you in the back. Well, that's more or less how we finished the round as well. So that's incredibly efficient work. That is superb stuff off the opening breaks from Carolina, and mistake-free. They never look back. That's some good, clean Call of Duty.
Really was. New York, though, get their opportunity to attack already. First blood to them, looking to make a move for it. Gwyn, dead silence popped. Gonna try and make a difference here, but just a little bit of timing, but still going for this chow. Flies in, doesn't find them, but does somehow get that. It must have been weak. But New York, light at the end of the tunnel. They are on to the B point.
Yeah, and you see that was a good trigger discipline coming in from Gwyn, but he ends up dying on the 5 spree. Didn't get quite enough help, so no cruise missile there. And again, cruise missiles are a massive theme on this new patch. If you get a cruise missile on this map, you almost guarantee a defense. Like, you could just single-handedly stop a push on either zone. So No spiciness there. And now you get New York back in their sort of sweet spot. Sid picking up a good deal of kills. Hydra in your base trying to be annoying. Ring around the rosy with Clay. Eventually able to take him down. And that B zone secured. 2 minutes right now from New York to play with. And they have a ton of lives as well.
Yeah, they've been having a much better time here on this. And now looking to put the hurt back onto the Ravens. They've got to do the same thing that was just done to them. Wait, play the time, get the opportunity you need. Kismet going to go around for the flank here. They've lost in the kill feed. He could have done with his teammates staying alive. I think he may have been spotted there. He has been. Felony has got him, and that is a clear line for the Ravens.
Yeah, neither team really able to do those cheeky scaffolding plays just yet. Gwyn was the furthest player pushed up from Carolina. He gets taken care of. It's still power positions, though, insecure the Ravens, but Sid there with a little bit of help from his teammate. Takes TJ down from the top helicopter. You deal with the next man in your spawn. So the map has been spread by Subliners. They keep everything under control. No more flanks coming through. All gunnies forward.
Trying to fly now. Sid just staying alive, getting that clock stopped. That first tick might come in. Needs to make this gunfight, and he does. Sid, huge kills on the map. Eventually will fall to Gwyn. New York just trying to keep a little bit of map control. The trades are good for them at this point.
Still with that pressure on the zone. I mean, right now it's going to be a player by himself, but that is his opportunity for Kismet to be behind enemy lines. So the slower this goes for New York right now, the better. Not the best start, though. A couple players on Carolina find the kills, so the flank is forced to be fast, and then everything falls apart. Subliners couldn't quite orchestrate it together. Carolina there to pierce the setup, and Gwyn again, the man that is always leading the charge.
Well, only 5 lives remain for the Ravens. A full minute on the clock, though, for New York. They can hold power positions. They can bleed them slowly over this next 60 seconds. But they've still got to do it. Sid will find Clayster. No respawn for Carolina.
And of course, with the players on the time right there, that is worst case scenario for the clock to be stopped. Down to 3 lives. This is going to be unwinnable, and TJ gets caught as well. Felony just falling off the map. So there you go. Nice little bounce back round from New York Subliners. They do it off the lives. They don't even need the objective. The slaying was absolutely enough for them, so the pace that they were able to play at delivers towards the end. Back-to-back attacking rounds. Not too shabby.
Now, you've got to give credit to New York as well. That was a very confident attacking round. Really fought back, and it looked pretty much in their control the entire time. They went for the trades. They just kept making the right plays and didn't overcommit and get wiped, which is what they were most afraid of, playing around that mid-map control. Can they do something better on the defense here, or will the Ravens run against them?
Once again for the Ravens, not a pure 2-2 split. It looks like Clayster are going to have a little bit of help maybe towards the middle of the map or spot out the players that they go top propane. But there's a lot of B Street pressure coming through from New York Subliners, and they're getting all the kills as well. So Gwyn has been sort of running underground. He's making his presence known once again, but doesn't have a ton of support. And Sid with a nice gunny able to take him down as well. This might be the defensive spawn trap. This is the best case scenario right now for New York.
Clayster wants to find a pick. He wants to give his team an opportunity to get out of here and get a little bit mixy. Looking for Hydra. Hydra's going to stay alive. No, he's not. Clayster picks him off. Unfortunately, he needs his teammates to back him up, and Sid is destroying them. Clayster finds a second one. He is throwing this door open for the Ravens to get out and get map control back.
Well, still, that's like players on the left and mid. It's still helicopter that's going to be a problem. So Carolina still a lot of work they're going to have to do to try to find this break, and the kills continue to not go their way. Subliners, if you get the setup on defense, you should never let it go, and they are handling it just about perfectly. TJ might have slipped the net and get behind enemy lines, but he's going to be forced to wrap back to make a play. That's 2 kills now in the feed for Carolina, and they're on the A zone. That's the good news. Bad news is 16 seconds left on this game clock. You have to keep someone on the objective.
Clayster going for a long shot. There's going to be somebody close. Looks for the gunfight. Not going to win it. Sid finds a massive 2 as they just fall over and over again. Gwyn now has to commit to the point, but he is going to be outnumbered. They will come from many directions to gun him down. And Hydra, oh my goodness, there's a horrible gunfight at the best of times. But with time ticking, surely the Ravens cannot find anything here.
Desperation and a nice little crack in the barrels for Felony to get tagged up. Very one shot, easy to trade. And now you're just going to have to flood out through blue. Easy reads for New York. They're going to get this done on a very dominant round of defense. That was not a single tick of progression on either zone. And Carolina might have created some opportunities, but it took them way too long to be able to set it up. And I think Sid was really that player to close the door. The 2-piece he had on the B zone, really seals the deal. And if we're talking about momentum, well, Subliners, they certainly have it now.
Yeah, that was a complete change of momentum. New York locked in. For the Ravens, it's their turn to try and get it back. See if they can send this to a round 5. Can they do it, though? Here it goes. Attack here for New York. A little bit of a commit straight to the A point. Oh no, they're going underground, the pair of them. They're going to run straight into Gwyn. That is a huge gunfight already.
Oh, this is easy reads on the opening break, too. I think Sky's posted in the back of the mat. Never mind. Actually gets gunned in the feed, so TJ's out here making plays. You see, really putting the pressure on and forcing Hydra to get off the zone, and TJ will do it one way or another. Gets that kill, so nice play from TJ to sort of kill that opening break there from the Subliners. And talk about the defensive setup. Well, that gets broken down immediately. Carolina get caught just being a little too aggressive, and they just have to regroup, reposition, and stabilize. Looks like the MCWs for Carolina going to do exactly that, and now they've officially got the spawn trap set up. Nobody from New York outside of their base.
Oh yeah, this Kismet just going through a barrage of explosions and tacticals. Gets up towards Propane, looking for the metal winner, finds one, guns a second as well. The Bulldog going to work to make sure his team can get out of this. They haven't got a ticket. Clayster playing slow, finds the first, knows that he's going to be dropped on. Waits, patient, knows where Kismet is as well, was still playing his life. And that is perfect play in the end, absolute patience, and it ends with a terrible nade.
Nearly perfect play towards the end. Gwyn, by the way, that is not an easy chunk to hit. Absolutely nails it. That is a massive sort of beneficial thing to have on this map. More players flooding through B Street. 10 seconds left on the clock. I think Kismet is going to have to make the play, stay alive on this zone, but he can't even make it. TJ killing him off the cross. And 2 seconds left. Desperation hours and so much progression that needs to take place. My God, I think we're going to be going to a round 5 unless Hydra can do beyond something absurd, but he gets taken care of. And funnily enough, there is no ticks of progression there for the side of New York on offense either. So as bad of a round as Carolina had on offense round before, they respond exactly how they need to. And I think just because, New York Subliners won round number 2 off lives, not the objective. So I believe Carolina should have defense for the round 5. Obviously, this is a much more balanced map than some others we have in the repertoire. You can absolutely win on offense, but as far as round 5s go, yes, you prefer to have defense.
Well, let's see. The stage has been set. Do the Ravens put the Subliners in the dirt, or does the dream become real and a potential reverse sweep? Anything could happen. Let's find out how it does. Right, now, straight on the defense, right with the Carolina Royal Ravens. New York going through it as well. Explosions banging across the map as the kills start to come in.
Oh, that's a big 2 from Clay as well. Making sure you lock down the A side. You had a nice little setup coming through, trying to make the play. Often like Tej as well. Skies playing for that DB Street push, but DJ here, still a ever-present threat. Him and Gwyn looking together. And that's got to be a couple trades potentially coming through. TJ actually gets dropped. It's the pistols putting in the work right now for Subliners over towards the B zone. And you can spawn trap on the offensive side too. Carolina have to get out of their base. Felony's going to be trying to make that happen, but the B zone potentially going to fall. Progression going nice and quick.
Apparently found one. Gwyn tries to make that jump, doesn't get it this time. Hydra just going to get this cap and they're not going to stop him. It's all positioning now for the Ravens. They want these kills. They want to push them back into the spawn. Desperate here for the Subliners to stay alive, play their lives, play position. And Sky's the last one out. Just running away, and that is a huge kill. That means this map is wide open. A is now going towards them.
And he's just going to be looking for the spawners. He's got the trophy out. You're just looking for that maybe 2 or 3 man wipe. Kismet trying to get in position as well, but Kismet's going to fall. Skies and Hydra now working together, but from opposite sides of the map, they are still just desperate to try to find these errant kills. I mean, you got TJ and Gwyn pushed up on the map, actually getting the kills, so you have a spawn trap taking place on both sides of the map. Sky's just desperate for his teammates to send more people to the gulag to get him off the respawn so we can deal with them, and he is putting in the work to make it happen. You just got to get this man some help.
He is a one-man army, and he has opened it for them. They are out. Subliners are onto the A point. Skies still alive. A 5 streak waiting for Felony. Not able to get it that time. Gets back onto the point. Now with bodies here, they have an opportunity. They can win this in the trades. Hydra finds one. Gwyn's going to get onto Sib. Bodies flying at it as well.
There we
It is
go.
New York who are winning this battle. Skies again falls to TJ, but Kismet in the back. And that second tick is coming through. Ravens off the respawn. And surely there's no way back for them here.
I mean, they're playing for the kills right now. They're playing for the kills. They're not stacking the point, and the kills don't go their way. Carolina back them down for the moment, but it is still a mix fest. Only 7 lives remaining. Subliners can win this one of 2 ways, and frankly, they have the pressure. They have the numbers. You can overwhelm them. Less Felony. Pop-off play potential. The nade again coming through. 2 men left on the site right now for Subliners, and no lives remaining. It's going to be a nail-biter. 8 versus 4 and a minute to play. Carolina have to be perfect.
The Ravens must not get fluttered. Already lost one. Hydra is hitting the flank. He might be found. They're going to call this one out as well. They know it. Claystrom could have got it. 3 versus 6. The Ravens still have to hold. They still cannot falter for the next 40 seconds.
Everybody from New York, though, just getting in position. Power position for top propane. Get that information. Kismet, maybe just with the gunny. Gonna get it done. And Subliners, in the end, execute. Take care of business on high-rise control. And as is typical for this team, they do it on the slag.
Unbelievable, and I think you have to give credit to Skies. Stayed alive for an obscene amount of time. Caused nothing but problems for the Ravens. He opened the path to A, and eventually they were able to join him. But a small breath of life breathed into the New York Subliners here on this map.
You are exactly correct. Yeah, Sky's making the pop-off plays. I mean, Sib consistent with the damage numbers as well on this map. That is always going to be his playground. So the stats always look nice and pretty, but I'd say for Skies, that's like one of those blackout moments to where your teammates are calming things, but they're calling out TJ and Gwyn like Gwyn's underground, TJ's by green tarps. Like, he's not picking up any useful information. Skies is literally just on an island, just desperate, A, to stay alive, and B, waiting for his team to start getting the kills so more people actually get sent to the spawn so he can have something to do. So that's a moment where you are just an individual that needs your team to execute, and you have to make the big plays yourself as well. So dicey moments, not easy to string together, but Skies handles it perfectly towards the end of that final round. And again, even with all of that action, still barely winning towards the end.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. The original kind of shout out to Skies there. You got to remember what happened to the last 2 attacking rounds. The door was locked by both teams, putting them on the back burner, but eventually, just a slaying win against the Ravens. You thought maybe if they had a couple more lives, they could have played it a bit differently, may have walked away with the win, but just not to be. A real back and forth on this map, both attack and defense, superb from both sides. But it does mean we get a map number 4, a hard point where it could be settled, or we could have a map 5.
I tell you, some of the shots that we're seeing, like in these highlights, I don't know if you saw the one Sid had, like sliding to the mid box and gunning somebody like through the mid windows, but like behind cover. So again, Sid, he has one job and one job only, but he is fantastic at it. Slaying and damage numbers always going to be a threat. These scaffolding hits, I don't think worked out a single time for either team on the map, which personally I'd love to see because I hate when it happens to me in ranked play. But the pro teams right now, again, very heads-up gameplay. That was great Call of Duty, I'd say, from both sides of the imaginary stage that we're playing on right now. And all the forces to map 4. Again, Subliners, we keep saying it. We believe in this team to sort of bounce back from the stage 1 that they had. In the same vein, have the same expectations in any given series. Being down 2-0, you still expect Subliners to be a threat, and they've at least pushed it to that map 4.
Well, let's see. This next hard point, it could dictate how the narratives on these 2 teams go. The Ravens a win here again. A repeat of the Major, but, you know, highlight from the S&D. We could be looking at a bit of a different force on the road to Miami. The New York, if they can win this, take it to map 5 and get back, they can quash some of that hate that has been flowing their way in recent times. They can shut up the haters, maybe not permanently, but at least a brief respite.
I mean, I would say, like, you know, the way you lost map 1 and especially the way you lost map 2, the New York Subliner, like the haters of this team, they have some ammunition. Like, even if Subliners make the comeback, you get a little bit of ammo. But I gotta say, I'm excited to watch this Invasion Hardpoint. It's gonna be the first look we have in the CDL of these guys playing on the new patch. At the Major, it is the old one, it is the old spawns, it is the old hills. We no longer have to deal with the Palace Hill at all. So that Money Hill is completely out of the question. But the brand new P4, I cannot wait to see how these teams play it, because I know, like, my own personal raked experience, it's like you're getting parallel spawns, getting shot in the back Palace. You spawn Palace with people almost constantly. So P4 is a little bit insane. It's also a hill where there's like 2 spots in a massive hill where you can actually effectively play and stay alive. But I just want to see how well coordinated these guys are on it, see if I can learn something, because I know I need the help.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking some tips from this as well, certainly, as we move forward. But you are right. This is one of those things that only a few weeks practice, you're going to know the map. But sometimes those little micro decisions in the moment, the hesitations that can cost you points, lives, kills, and eventually wins, that'll be the difference between them. For the Ravens, no smiles at the moment. A full focus, ready to get into this next game. They have an opportunity to get those points on the board. I think at the moment they've only got 25, I believe.
Correct, yes.
So this will be huge for them if they can get it.
And again, just to get the ball rolling, give you somewhat of an advantage. If I remember correctly, I don't have it in front of me, but I think Carolina, based on the Major 1 standings, actually have a fantastic strength of schedule. Like, not nearly as difficult of what they had throughout Major 1. So, especially if you take down sort of one of the, I mean, theorized top dogs. I guess New York Subliners did get top 12, but still, to get a win like this, you're going to feel fantastic moving forward. Stage 2, this is really sort of the sweet spot for Carolina, but just to take a look at the last time they played, the Invasion S&D went the exact same. The first hard point, whether it be a sub-basic rock sheet, nail biter, but Carolina got the dub, and we don't have to deal with terminal hard point anymore, but still the series potentially gonna get reflected in the exact same way. And obviously, if it does get reflected in the same way, that just means we saw Carolina put some work in the downtime, because their S&D looks even better. That would just be more questions for Subliners to answer on the flip side if you see the exact same result.
Yeah, and that's probably the worst thing here as well. New York want to prove themselves after that kind of bad Major, I think is the easiest way to put it. Something of a shock. Yeah, and I think the biggest shock of the Major as well. So coming forward again, having to play the same team, you would say that realistically the way they wanted to come into this was to absolutely destroy them and go, all right, you know what, we can put that aside. That hasn't happened. If anything, Carolina looked better than they did back in the Major. Yes. So a few questions for them moving forward as we look to see how this one ends. But it's still all up in the air. I hate judging teams. Bearing in mind, it's the first day back on a new patch. It's difficult with the sample size that we have to say, hey, this team is much better, this team is much worse.
I don't know. I mean, like, I agreed. There's always the minimal amount of sample size, especially with like the changes coming through. But the game is mostly the same, at least for search and destroy in control. So that's why I think it's actually easy to say that, yes, we've seen improvements from Carolina. Their search and destroy, I mean, I know they won on Invasion the last go around, but it looked super clean from what we saw. But that was the old Invasion. Now we're working with the new for the hard point. But Bryce, from what I understand, there is a bit of a tech delay.
There might be a small tech delay, so we're going to go to a break so you don't have to look at my face anymore. But we will be back after this with some beautiful hardpoint. New York Subliners versus the Carolina Royal Ravens. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. We have rested, we have returned, and we are ready for this game. Hardpoint is upon us. Ravens versus Subliners. At the moment, the Ravens hold the cards. They are 2-1 up chance.
Yeah, and you know the game is loading in because you don't see the reflection of Civ just shooting like the firing range sort of bots. Because that man, even in the downtime, he is always going to be shooting his gun. And he's going to do it at an insane pace. So yes, invasion hardpoint upon us. The brief look at the new spawns we get to see, and again, just how these teams want to orchestrate and see those new looks. I know P4 is going to be the focus point, at least for me, of like sort of the Palace Hill being insane, getting replaced with a P4 that is almost equally insane, but in a very different way. I know there's just a ton of like top Palace to the mid-tank gunfights where you have to be dialed in to shoot absolute laser beams. So maybe a team like New York might enjoy the new look on this map. Maybe just more impressive kills for Civ to collect.
Well, let's see. I'm very much looking forward to this one. Like I said, the narrative between these teams, it could all hinge on a hard point. For me, I think the positive to take away for this one, mostly on the Ravens side, does look like very good teamwork at points, and that's what I kind of want to highlight for them. We've seen it time and again. I think we highlighted Clayster in the S&D charts. We talked about his damage compared to Felony's. 9 and 2 for Felony, 3 and 3 for Clayster. And yet the damage, I think, was 10 points apart. So plenty of bullets in bodies for Clayster. And like I said, if you don't get the kill, it doesn't matter for a lot of people, but it still wins you maps and it wins you rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Carolina, very well orchestrated in the search and destroy. Again, I think we've already learned that, I mean, not necessarily, we don't know where they're going to fall within the league, but we know that, like, even if they're 12, they're not going to be as bad as they were. Like, they have clearly stepped up. The question is, how high can they go? Of course, on the map number 1 hardpoint, DJ, as you pointed out earlier, Bryce, has certainly spent time on this team as being the best player on it. Nice performance on the map 1 sub base as well. Certainly a player to pay attention to on the flip side, because he's going to be rocking that extra MCW. It's not going to be uncommon at all for 3 or maybe 4 MCWs to be in the hands of every player on the team on this map. Finally, after the delay, we get the ball rolling. See if any sort of action can happen off the opening break. This is a difficult P1 to stay alive in.
Looking for him as well, teacher. He gets 2, but it's a technical. And now he's going to try and get through this one as well. Almost stuck Skies at the same time, but now going to try and push forward. A horrible point to get.
Again, difficult to stay alive in. I mean, that took 25 seconds for New York to really get inside of it all. But once you get it, you can absolutely, there's like 2 spots you can play. And of course, if you have teams thinking about the rotation, not going to be as much pressure on towards the hill. Nice shots coming in from Felony. Looks like you get the wipe on the P1 time that Carolina collects. But of course, the exchange is you do not have that rotation at all over towards P2. New York Subliners get a perfect setup. 2 players by broken, 1 guy on time, 1 man for the back. This is exactly how New York want to have it happen.
Still a few seconds to try and get this one done, but Hydra is gunning. And it's never a good time for the enemy team when this man is putting shots down. You can see everything in the street is laid down. A bit of a pinch, a bit of a split. But will they withstand the pressure? New York can win this with just a couple of trades, and they already got some.
Oh, Felony, though, out of nowhere for 2. You see Clayster actually in the back doing a nice job to stay alive. You in New York that, like, intentionally left the palace spawns open because they were hoping to win the broken side gunfights and flip the map for the rotation, but instead, Felony out of nowhere rips 2, and because Clayster stays alive, everything New York Subliners were just trying to do, it gets done to them. And now I look at the minimap and somehow Kismet is behind everybody. So I don't know if he spawned there or what the hell just happened, but that is certainly an opportunity for New York to make up for the bad thing that just happened. Again, it's a new map. It's new spawns. It's a little bit chaotic. Advantage. It doesn't matter. The spawn will just take it away in New York. They'll get that rotation to showers.
Yeah, that could happen. But hey, sometimes you're going to adapt, improvise, and overcome, and that's what they're going to try and do now. You can see New York have thrown up the defenses. Clayster now moving forward a bit, and Hydra will gun him out of his shoes. It is a struggle here for Carolina to get any sort of map control.
I'll tell you, Kismet just spawned. Like, he might have taken a route. I just missed it on the minimap, but it looked like he just spawned there, and that is the reason right now that Subliners have this setup. So either Kismet is making monster plays or Kismet had a monster spawn, but either way, you go towards this shower hill. This is an absolute money hill with the new spawns coming through. You see how distant at Palace Carolina is going to be. That means you get one good attempt and maybe a second sort of iffy one to make progress over towards showers. They cannot. They get punished basically full 60 coming through, and it's going to be our first look at the brand new P4. The kills going to get traded and the exchanges rolling through at the start. We see right now the idea from Carolina: get players stacked up in P1, try to be aggressive, try to be annoying, and play from there.
This is one of those hills that feels like we've broken from anywhere. Keep an eye on that spawn though. Hydra's.
Yep, every time.
And that is a horrible time for them. Nobody from Ravens has realized it yet, but they will as soon as these bullets start to bang and Quinn's gonna fall and everybody goes down. The problem with this map now and this hard point is you can be broken very, very quickly.
And that's like another thing too. Hydra spawned up in Palace, but there was someone from Carolina that was standing in Palace at the same time. And number 8's going to do the exact same thing. So that's where like the spawn management just becomes insanity for this hill. When Carolina players are spawning on a hill that you'd expect to be blocked, they're spawning next to each other right now, Bryce. It's like consistent, so it's technically readable, but it's insane if you want to actually try to get the time. Both teams right now struggling with it. Maybe technically a good hill for Carolina, but like everybody's fighting at like 10% of the map. And then of course on rotation, Carolina finally don't spawn in Palace. They actually do spawn over towards New. Doesn't mean they're winning the gunfights though. Hydra still behind enemy lines. Felony in between 3. He's gonna get traded as the quest to kill Hydra continues.
Well, Hydra still staying alive, and as to say, if you like gunfights, perfect hill for you, but it's going to keep going. Trying to get into this new hill point. There's only a few places you can hide for it as well. Kismet is ready, but all of his teammates have disappeared. He still finds a gunfight, though. Wins it 6 and 11, but gunning like he hasn't been killed yet. Another player, another kill for Kismet. Still staying alive. This is a problem for the Ravens as his teammates start to flow in behind him.
I mean, they just can't find him. Literally, you have TJ running in circles around blue, just looking for Kismet. Finally, you're able to spot out where he ran to. The question is, can you actually get some time? I mean, that's 2 in the feed for Carolina, but they don't actually have the pressure on the zone just yet. Maybe gonna collect these final 12 seconds. And maybe more spawns to try to read. The back gas spawns coming through from York Subliners. It means long-term right now on top of P1. You'd rather be Carolina spawning on the left side of the map, but I mean, it's what, a 20-point game between these two teams. Almost expecting it to come down to the wire again.
Yeah, and it's looking that way again. The Ravens in control at the moment. Kismet, though, gonna make a move. Finds one already. Gonna go for it. Gwyn goes for the chow, but Kismet just completely annihilates him, and Ravens had this hill for only a few seconds. The real question will be now is about this rotation. There is a split spawn come in. TJ is in the back line.
Yeah, that's a spawn that really could come through. The problem is, though, TJ, if he's a little bit too slow, is going to be potentially blocking the spawns and dragging him for his team. So you have Carolina losing every important gunfight in that moment. So the one guy that spawns out, instead of a pinch, it turns into a dagger. And now York Subliners maybe driving that nail home. That is a 5 spree from Skies. Gets to play for the kill. You get the rotation as well. This is officially New York Subliners' game to lose. They have every single tool, every single spawn that they're gonna need. The game is firmly in their control.
Well, with the Subliners starting to switch gears and get this game underway, let's find out how they are feeling in the comms. The New York Subliners, listen in.
Let me get tractor.
You can't get
Low team. Spawn out.
Broken.
Yeah, I'm holding tractor. Okay, DVD pillars and broken. I'm staying down.
On the right.
I'm one shot.
Yeah, stay down. Where's the thing? I'm on the tank with the nade.
Spur on me, Teach. Spur Teach, I'm laying down.
I'm gonna go make out.
I'm attacking. I'm going mid with you, Dante. He's dead, Spur, I'm one shot.
Let's the thing going square. Let's the thing going square. I kill him.
Where you want? On the tank right now. Square tank. Where's that tank? All pallets.
One shot, Palace, 2 of them.
They're both there. Teach kill. Win, pallets, stun.
Come near.
I will get near.
I have all of it.
I'm near your pallets. I'm leaving. Yeah, I got you. They're all over me. Two more. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to block off one kill, okay? You can play fire truck and back up, Dante, okay? Play fire truck and back up. Get ready to block. On the half, one mid. Alright, Paco, you can we're good. No, we're good. We died first. Back up, Paco. I'm gonna shoot for time. Actually, I'm blocking. Yeah, I'm backing up. When spawning out. One guy's courtyard team. A and D. And Fellow's beat up.
Time on me.
Time on me.
He's going from DVD. Nice.
Cross Ivy. Watch your mannequin from time. I have my mannequin.
Mannequin on the fire, homie.
I have mannequin dead.
I'm gonna back.
I'm gonna shoot for time. Yeah, one's deep river. Shaking for time. Deep river. One's river, one's ASND, one's court. Block. Jump right now.
And there you hear the intensity out of the comms from New York Subliners. Again, these guys got control of the game and never looked back. The scoreline is absurd, and that is one of the most educational listen-ins we have had so far this year. The conversation between Skies and Hydra in that moment, talking about blocking spawns. As soon as the new hill pops, the spawn locations are going to change on the map, and that's why Skies is calling out, I'm going to run to back gas just to block it, because if they leave it open, you've already seen the game's willingness. They will absolutely spawn the other team directly behind you, so you have to block those actual spawns to make sure the funny business doesn't happen. New York Subliners handle it perfectly, and they're blowing Carolina out.
They really are. The rotations haven't even been close. The Ravens are just running into the teeth of Subliners over and over again. And now they're here at P4, but is it really going to matter? 214 to 91. The biggest question for me is, will this be a 100-point club?
I mean, it is certainly shaping up to be. I mean, this is a hill right now that, again, it can be difficult to stay alive in, but there's a few spots that when you get them, you're actually absurdly difficult to kill. So you see Hydra was near the motorcycle. He stands up, so he's going to get evaporated. Maybe that's going to answer the 100-point club question. Carolina able to get past that mark, but still, if they want to get back in this game, it is more than a long way to go.
Kismet's been playing lights out since the beginning of this one. And they have control again. The Ravens not in the position to take anything down. Kismet guns Gwyn. Placed trying to do all he can as well, but with time ticking away, the palace spawn is there, and Sib is using it as a shooting gallery. They are spawning a mile away, and you have to run through the gauntlet. There are cover points everywhere. There are chows you have to make. There are corners, but in the end, it is only issues for you moving towards this hill.
Yeah, no, there is simply nothing you can do. It is just going to be a flood through the front, just into the pre-aims of everybody on New York. Felony might be able to pick up the first, but it's Hydra on the crosses. It's two players posted up inside of the hill, and 5 seconds to go for New York to send this to a game number 5. Just need that final stamp. TJ, the final player to fall, and Subliners are going to get it done in emphatic fashion.
And that was one-sided. The Ravens were flying high, but have been brought low. Skies, big smile for good reason. I think it was 28 and 12 or some ridiculous stat line like that in that game. And it started close. It started a competition, but no rotations to be had for Carolina, and the Subliners took advantage.
I mean, it really did feel like the moment was on the P1 hill where, like, Carolina had the spawns for P2. TJ spawns up back gas, and then Carolina almost simultaneously lose every single key gunfight. So everyone that could have, like, kept those left side spawns rolling through for Carolina, they just die. You spawn up on the wrong side of the map, and then you're just on the back foot. Like, you have to hike across the map to rotate towards P2. They end up getting flipped again on the P2 hill to get the palace spawn, so now they're on bad footing for the rotation over to showers. Like, you just lost control of the game. You could absolutely never get it back, and New York Subliners obviously taking full advantage. That is 4 players down the line, just ridiculously positive. The slang out of control. And again, if the game on Invasion is flowing easy for you, the kills are very easy to get. And that is nearly perfectly done. Again, right after that P1, you have like 3 hills in a row where Carolina did not score a single point. That is absolutely brutal to look at.
Yeah, you never want to see a flat line on a hardpoint graph, especially one that long. But it does give us a wonderful opportunity. To map 5, we do go. A potential reverse sweep chance.
Absolutely. And again, Subliners were a little bit 50-50 iffy in the respawn game modes. Well, they delivered in the final 2. You know, game 5, and again, from stage 1, it is Subliners who have the best S&D record against Carolina, who had the worst. We get to see how stage 2 is going to shake things up.
We certainly do. It is not ended. Our story has not been told, and it has not been finished. The last chapter will be written by these teams, but is it New York or Carolina with the pen in their hand? And S&D will decide it all for us. Do not go anywhere. We will see you right after this for more Call of Duty League.
Start the season strong with the Call of Duty League Pack. Grab yourself the CDL Operator, Weapon Blueprint, and so much more. Check out the Call of Duty store in-game now. Slice up your competition with the Executive Chef Operator, now available in-game in the Call of Duty store.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. The New York Subliners and the Carolina Royal Ravens have taken this the distance. It is a map 5, the last one, S&D for all the points. Chance, what do we think?
I think it has been a rare sight to see a reverse sweep so far this year. We've had like 2, I think, total, or maybe 3, and I think Vegas Legion has been a part of. Yeah, I was gonna say there's one team that has been the center point of it. And well, maybe Carolina could potentially be the team that joins the mix on there on the negative side. Subliners want to, of course, come out on top, but I don't think it's gonna happen. As much as we like to make fun of teams for maybe sketchy teamwork, team kills like that. If I had to take a guess, nice reset. There you go. We'll get there in a bit.
Might have been a reset though, but for some reason, really enjoying the reset. Having fun shooting each other in spawn. Just taking time for opportunity where they can. But yeah, it gives them a bit of an opportunity for us actually to talk about this map in a little bit more detail between these two. Obviously, last time these two squads played, they didn't get to a map 5, and we did highlight that realistically the Subliners have a better statistical advantage in the S&D. But Ravens won the S&D in this series so far.
Yeah, and I think the primary thing for Carolina is, like, you know, during the Major 1 split with these core 4 players, they were basically just playing like an 8s team of, like, they're all good players. They all know what to do in search and destroy, but they just had absolutely no time to actually develop the chemistry, go over the details and the strats, get a feel for, like, how any given player is going to play in a situation. Like, if you're getting used to playing with TJ Halley, but the guy you were playing with before is like Hydra or just pick a random player, the way they react to different situations always going to be different. If you don't have that experience, it's just difficult to orchestrate. So that's a big factor into why Carolina just so poor in search and destroy throughout the major. Even on a map like Karachi, they just hadn't had a chance to iron out any of the wrinkles in their setups, figure out the different tendencies of their teammates, and get used to everything. What we saw in the Invasion Search and Destroy, fantastic teamwork. Everybody getting in the mix, everybody very well coordinated, the setups always on point. So they're going to need to bring that into the Karachi as well. They still have to answer questions on different maps, but certainly much more of a believer in this Carolina Ravens team. Obviously, I know Felony was popping off, but they were really just good plays down the entire roster. So high expectations from Carolina, but you just know it's a force they're going against.
Yeah, it is. And this is where all that practice, all that time you've spent figuring out breaks, figuring out what way you want to play every single opportunity in this S&D comes down to. I think I'm probably going to misquote this, but I'm going to say I think you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training.
An interesting webcam, I'd say, for the past few years. I know him and Sender were like having a father-son moment is what it looked like, I think, before the tech thing we had before map 4. So this guy's got a lot of things going on with the setup, but also a lot of gunning and playmaking potential as well. He got the cruise missile in the map 4. He was the guy that was staying alive for what seemed like a year and a half over by the A zone on the high-rise control. So this guy's putting in some serious work that he wants to carry into the Karachi. He's always going to be a lethal threat in search and destroy as well, but maybe just re-talking about the exact same things you just talked about before the map loaded in the first time. And then there's Ravens sitting in the darkness.
Sitting in the darkness being quiet, but I think we are ready. I believe they are launching into this now. Karachi S&D, you have been patient, you have been beautiful, but the time is upon us. This must end, and we will find out how it does. The Ravens or the Subliners, fingers crossed for the fans of both these teams.
It's going to be an interesting map as well because of the pace on Karachi. Almost like expected 90% of the rounds, it is going to be slow. It is going to be playing off the information, looking for those first bloods. You can make moves on both sides of the map, but you always have to be on point. Even just on the like stuns and nades front, you have to be very particular. Gotta be a little bit careful, especially in these early rounds as well. With no trophies, gotta be just even safer than you normally are.
Oh, here we go. Already looking for these kills, looking for these plays. A little bit of a push up here. Hydra trying to get out. Information is critical at this point. There's the first blood. There's the reply. Back down to 3-3. Hydra will find Gwyn, though. Clayster and Friendly left alive in a 2 versus 3 chance.
Oh, now Skies is what can have the information, and he's going to play it nice and patient, too, and able to drop him, win the easier gunfight. And you see Clayster half health. They know exactly where he is. Ooh. Or maybe they knew exactly where he was. He's at least slipped the net to make moves out towards B, and they're still looking around Coop. So if Clayster picks up a freebie kill here, shoots a player in the back, there is an opportunity for him to make this play, but he is running out of time. But they still haven't spotted him. So the only thing working from Clay is that he's invisible.
Oh, he's still playing around this. He still wants to go back to B. He is in place. Eventually one's going to go check it. This is a problem. Kismet will check this bomb. They have the lives and time to spare. But he's going to go down. Clayster trying to make a miracle happen. Miracle over. They found him.
Nothing happening there. Yeah, in spite of the no information that the Subliners had on Clayster, eventually, after you've cleared out Coop, you just send one player over just to watch the site just in case. Kismet sees him on the cross, sees him through the red window, and an easy gunfight towards the end. So an interesting round towards the end of it, but at the start, it was just the positioning and the bloods rolling through for New York. Execute, take care of business, no clutches slipping through the cracks, and considering how the first S&D started off, New York Subliners on a much stronger footing.
Well, let's see if they can continue this now. Will it be the full collapse of the Ravens we are staring at? Or do they have something a little bit more to give us? Big push here. You can see Gwyn, maybe the key player. I think he's already gone up top.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think you're ever going to read this. That might be the first time we've actually seen someone on broadcast hit it. The question is, how many kills can he get after the bomb gets planted? The great position's one thing, but the objective going to be another, and Kismet's going to get out as well. So the jump up spot, but right now he's just causing chaos, waiting for his teammates to get in the mix.
Fortunately, Clayster's already gone down. Gwyn was in a great position, but that position doesn't mean a lot without the kills. TJ's still worrying about this player on the flank. Hydra's going to find Felony. Gwyn last alive, not a kill to be found. New York, they get everything they need, and a little bit of luck from Kismet.
Yeah, and that is, I mean, absolutely nothing going right from Carolina there in the moment. Everybody losing the one-on-one gunfights. I think it was Sid that was playing the distant angle by Coop, sort of, you know, catching those players off of rotation, and everybody on New York doing their job in that moment. And really just unfortunate for Gwyn. Honestly, that could be a moment where, like, a ninja defuse would be possible, because from New York's side, like, there's simply no way someone's behind us. But as soon as they get the intel on Gwyn, and Gwyn doesn't get the first blood, the round feels so much easier after the fact.
Well, let's see. Can there be anything here? Only one kill in 2 rounds for the Ravens. They're now attacking. They're going towards B. TJ leading the forward. Will need a check. Sips already tagged him up, so he won't push for this yet. On the other side, Gwyn playing an island.
Yeah, that might be the first blood battle, number 8 versus number 1, and Kismet reads it. Gwyn had some cheeky spot in a corner, but outside of the beatdown from Clay, it's just a beatdown that New York is delivering. 3 versus 2. Sib's got eyes on bomb as well. Felony gets caught, and Kismet is out here making plays. Hard reads on Gwyn. And of course, everybody seemingly winning their ones on the side of New York Subliners. This is the more typical, what you would expect from number 1 versus number 12 in Search and Destroy. Subliners just had to get warmed up a bit, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe. It could be any one of these, but New York certainly have shifted gears. Maybe they just didn't want to be the main focus of the flank later on and said, hey, we need to turn this one around now. But for the Ravens, they need to do the same thing. Maybe change it up, maybe slow it down, speed it up. Something has got to give.
I mean, they just need a first blood, really, just any sort of momentum. They only have 2 kills on the map at all in 3 rounds, so you just got to win that initial one. Hydra, though, playing with all the confidence in the world. Already made it to top AC. A little bit of intel, and he dips away with his life. TJ maybe thinking about the chase for the trades, but Hydra's already healed up. But TJ able to get it done, and Carolina finally, the first blood and second fall their way. Just got to make sure you don't let a 2v4 slip through the cracks.
It really all comes down to this first kill. Kismet, they know where he is. He's being chased. He will be shot in the back here as well. And Gwyn gets him down to a 1 versus 4, but surely a 1 versus 4 too far on this map.
Yeah, and again, just finally a nice opening break coming out there. They get the information on Hydra, shoots at Felony from up top, and TJ, not an easy gunfight to win when Hydra's in the middle of the map like that, but takes care of business, gets that one, and I think Felony was looking over him. Maybe a player jumping over the bridge or jumping up top third, but first 2 kills go your way on defense. Basically just going to lock it in. Now Carolina, the sort of bigger question for them, what can they do on the attack? They've gotten stuffed every direction they try to go.
Well, let's see, because this isn't over. While it has been dominating for the New York Subliners in those first 3 rounds, with a round back on the board for the Ravens, they can make this 3-2 and make it look a lot more kind of favourable to them in the end. But here comes the first blood. Hydra has to back away. It's full mid-map control for Carolina.
Yeah, and Hydra does the smart thing, doesn't want to over-chow because he would be running into 3 people. That is 3 players from Carolina. Will now make it 2, just stacked up around this sort of P1. So they don't have a lot of map control. They're sort of in a funnel, and there's a lot of power position for players on New York Subliners just to pick up the easy kills. You just don't want to make a mistake and overcommit, but there's a freebie. First blood for New York, and everybody is still trapped for Carolina, who are gonna fall like dominoes. Hydra absolutely frying on the map. Felony, last man standing, 1v4.
Yeah, I mean, you take mid-map control, but then you kind of get caught there. It becomes a kill box you can't escape from, and again, New York, an easy, a clean round for them. 4-1 now in this S&D, and Clayster, you can see the frustration on his face as he talks to his teammates.
Yeah, now I'm assuming talking about the way that round went down. You get that P1 control like that, you have to make a move off of it, but I think as soon as Hydra showed himself top AC, you're like, well, we can't climb the ladder, because like that's a, you know, it's going to be spotted from the guy's top AC. We try to go through this alley, Hydra's going to be there. Like, there is just nowhere you can go. And again, as you pointed out, you just end up in the kill box, and that is a lot of frustration in the middle of these rounds. Maybe the frustration going to continue. Carolina not playing, maybe another tech issue or something going wrong. Carolina tilting, and now the question is, how long does it take New York Subliners to figure it out? The host is going to do it for them. Always fun stuff here to figure out what is going on in the map 5, but add that delay to the tally.
Hey, sometimes you're just going to ride the roller coaster. We can have it smooth, we can have it rough, but we'll get there in the end. But right now we will figure out what is going on and get back to you. But clearly something amiss in the camp of the Ravens, and we're not just talking about the gameplay. They have struggled on that S&D the entire way through.
Yeah, no, not been a good look. Again, the First Bloods have not been going their way at all on a strategic front. They are creating small opportunities that are just getting absolutely punished by New York. Even the cheeky spots coming through. Again, Gwyn out here playing off angles and Kismet just making the reads. So New York seemingly on Karachi just ahead of the game, and now Carolina going to have to deal with the frustration. Not good vibes in the camp when you're in the middle of potentially getting reverse sweeped, especially so when the rounds are falling like they have. Got to regain, but right now I'm looking at the faces, and I don't think anyone's going to be that voice just yet.
No. Clearly they are listening, whether it's to a coach or an admin or something, because none of the Ravens are talking. On the other side of it, the Subliners, the skies could not look more relaxed.
I mean, it has been a talking point, even amongst players this year, of sort of just like team culture and how much of like, you know, playing with your friends, your brothers, getting that like level of chemistry like out in game goes a long way. Subliners obviously have like the team chemistry in spades. That was a major factor in why these guys ended up world champs just last year. Because even when they like bottomed out of certain tournaments, their confidence was absolutely never shaken. I mean, I remember going into like the final major before champs at Toronto, where like the coaches were just like, nope, we're gonna win this tournament. Like, we just know for a fact we'll let Wardy sub in for a game or two. Like, we don't need the extra reps of like the you know, the online matches. Like, we don't care anymore. We've made it. We're the best team. Now it's just the final 2 tournaments. So Subliners always a squad bringing those vibes. And obviously, again, it is something that goes a long way. Something maybe half the teams, maybe even less than that, really have been able to pull together in a strong way. But it is also something that, you know, it just does. It takes time to build.
It really does. And it's also a lot easier when you're winning. It's always good vibes. True. When you are winning, it's a lot harder to have good vibes and that sort of culture when you can't get anything going. But right now, it looks like the teams are probably locked in, I think. but I'm gonna guess here. I think the Ravens are still listening to something, whereas the New York are chatting amongst themselves by the look of it, because Kismet is either talking about the game, but Hydra was having a laugh with Sky. So I don't know what's going on with these two squads, but it does feel like a little bit of difference in the mentality at the moment.
Even just the parallel of seeing one team like just in the sunlight. You don't want it glaring in your eyes necessarily, like Sid may be struggling just a touch in that regard, but it's just, you know, your mood is better when you're in daylight compared to the pit of despair in darkness. So a little bit more difficult potentially to deal with, but again, obviously you have New York Subliners, maybe not playing in a facility, maybe playing in like an apartment complex, but they are all together, get to enjoy that team vibe.
Well, I think that can help things in so many ways as well. You know, talking between maps is easier when you can kind of get the inflection from in-person communication. But it doesn't matter. This is all just us trying to give an insight into how these players are playing this out in their mind at the moment. But realistically, all of our waffle doesn't matter. It's about the gameplay. It's about what they do when they perform. And you can see right now, they are sitting forward, the headsets are on, and they are starting to lock back in.
And Bryce, you're definitely going to have to help me with this one. I believe it was it 3-1 or 4-1 round count that we're potentially going to go into? I know Carolina, for the final round, spawned in on defense, so it's exactly where we left off.
Yeah, 4-1 was the score. I haven't had anything from the admins telling us any different, but if we do, we'll be the first to tell you. At the moment, though, Hydra has hit this one like a madman, but he is playing his life and he's getting out.
Yeah, and again, just the confidence that you're able to play with. If he's in this spot, Carolina going to have to slow things down just a little bit and worry about that Hydra Thorn in your side. Skies is going to get back down, but you see the bomb. It is slow roaming over towards A. And in the meantime, Hydra collects that first blood. The Thorn in your side has struck, and they're making the instant rat back over to B. I mean, Kismet has made it towards the bridge, so we've cleared out a bit of the map and with a man advantage. Carolina do not want to see this bomb go down, but I don't think they're going to have a choice.
They're having to back up here. You can see Felony right there, but guns against him. Reinforcements coming over. It will be Clayster who tries to get this one. Clayster will find Hydra. 2 versus 3. It's a little bit more doable, but with bomb down, it is difficult.
Yes, the most difficult bomb site to retake, especially with the man disadvantage. I don't even know if you're ever going to read this off angle from Sid. There's no reason someone would ever play here, but when you got the man advantage, you can do things like that as easy as it could possibly get. And Skies is, I don't know how to explain that. I don't know. He's having fun. He's having fun, Bryce.
Sometimes that's the best way to be. All kind of relaxed, a little bit loose. Gives you good opportunities for reflexes. And I don't know, man, this has been a game of two halves, to use an English football term. New York did not look good in the first 2 maps, but they have looked amazing in the next 3.
Yeah. And Bryce, if you're just looking at the player cams, like, it looked like it was over before the reset. Like, there is just no good vibes flowing through Carolina. They look defeated, and I think New York Subliners, again, just a round away to deliver that final fate. Nice little angle for Kismet. Doesn't take an ounce of damage and nearly kills 2. Another first blood, and the round collapses. It is all up to Clayster with absolutely nothing but a dream.
He finds one, but New York are about to put this one to bed, surely. 59 seconds, no bomb here for Clayster. And New York, they can smell the victory. It has been served onto their plate over and over again. And there's the gunning, there's the win. And there is the revenge for Boston, for New York. A slight redemption for them after everything that has been said, but it wasn't the cleanest of games. And maybe a silver line for New York for that one. The Ravens obviously have some things to work on.
You are not wrong about that, but I mean, that is a game that very much could have been a 3-0 for Carolina. They pulled the defense on the round 5 on high rise, but the Subliners players just taking turns, popping off and making the big plays. I know Skies was the focal point of many of them, especially towards the end. Hydra obviously getting a couple first bloods, Kismet doing his thing the entire time. So again, as you pointed out, sort of the tale of 2 halves, bit of a sloppy start. They're getting punished on